Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel. And so today I'm just going to be comparing a few oil filter brands uh, just for the sake of experimental purposes. So the first one here is a Motorcraft Ford oil filter. I cut them open already. I use a oil filter cutter tool. If you guys want one yourselves, I'll post a link in the description and in the comments section. So this is a Ford oil filter. I'm just gonna take this out of the container here. I just use any random container to store the oil filter so it doesn't make a gigantic mess. So the first one is a Ford oil filter. It came off of a 2016 F-150. This one had the 3.5 liter engine, and this vehicle, I believe, was roughly at about, I think, 594,000 kilometers. So it has quite a bit of mileage. This customer typically does 8 to 10,000 kilometer oil changes. So that's roughly, I think, like 5 to 7,000 miles. So this is the canister for the oil filter, and this one has a bypass valve on top. There's no physical spring on top. And this is the anti-drain back valve, the silicone anti-drain back valve, and then you have the spring inside here. The bypass valve, I believe, is probably, I think it's built inside the inside here. Anyhow, I don't claim to be an expert on oil filters. I'm just doing a visual inspection on this. I see some debris in here, and we are gonna open this up afterwards. So this is the base oil filter gasket, the rubber gasket O-ring. Just your typical Ford oil filters. So if you guys haven't seen the Ford oil filters, they are a relatively very good quality oil filters. I recommend these to put on your vehicle. You shouldn't have any problems. Uh, Usually 8,000 kilometers is what it's rated for on the Ford vehicles. I don't recommend to go uh, any more than 8,000 kilometers. So that's that. I'm just going to put that aside and put all this stuff aside. I'm just going to open this up just to inspect for any wear and tear. So this oil filter, the pleats, they opened up quite easily on this. Now, this is not a new oil filter. There are some oil filters that are new that I have here on the table, but we're going to open this up and then we are going to continue on afterwards. So just having a look at the oil filter. The only way to check for wear and tear is to open this up completely so you can see inside the pleats. Now, if you want to know the exact details of everything, then you will need to send these oil filters to a laboratory for testing, like Blackstone Labs or something. Blackstone is very common. A lot of people they use them for their oil testing. There's quite a bit. I don't know if that's debris or something that was inside the filter. That's not good. some particles and debris in here. I don't know where that came from. So lots of black pieces of I don't know what. That's not good at all. I don't know if that's the glue or something that's breaking down from inside the filter on the bottom of the end cap. Just trying to open this up by hand. I just see a lot of black pieces. Looks like plastic or something. I don't know if that's from the oil filter itself, if that's from the engine wear. So I'm just opening this up and just having a look as we go along. I do have another oil filter, a Ford oil filter that we will open up soon, as in another example. It could just be from the material that's at the end of the end caps, probably glued down to each other. But I'm not sure. I will find out for sure when I have a look at the other oil filter that I have here that came off of a different vehicle that used a Ford oil filter. So I'm carelessly opening this up now. There we go. So that's the end of the end caps here. You use an all metal construction. I don't know what's all this garbage at the bottom. It could be from all the glue and stuff. All of the glue from the constructing at the end of the oil filter. But other than that, I don't really see much metallic debris in here. So the oil filters, I think it's doing a decent job. I don't really see much. Probably very tiny particles that you guys may not be able to see on the pleats, the paper material. So I'm going to put that on the side. This is the cylindrical piece that's in the center of the oil filter. You have small rectangular holes. The way it's designed for the oil to flow, I believe they designed this like this on purpose. I believe probably because on how centrifugal force uh, works. One of my instructors from my uh, automotive school, he calls it centrifugal force. I just say a centrifugal force or centrifugal force, however you want to pronounce it. So that just the way how the law of physics work on how the oil is going to flow. So this oil is going to flow in this direction the way they designed it to be. That's what it seems like from my aspect on how I'm seeing it. They run it diagonally, so the oil is going to flow that way. So I think they designed that on purpose for better efficiency and performance. I'm not sure. Anyhow, we'll continue with the other one. This is another Ford oil filter. So the same exact thing. And you can see that on the used oil filters for the Fords, the motorcraft, the seal gets mushed up, so it's very thin. When you install the oil filter, it compresses. This is the anti-drain back valve, the silicone anti-drain back valve, and your typical oil filter, the same one as the other one. This one has some oil in it, so this is a metal type. I guess this is the bypass valve. So that's the canister. It's okay qualities, of decent quality. The Ford oil filters, you can't go wrong with them. Just trying to see if I can open this up easily or not. We're going to see if we see any of that black crap, plastic crap that was on the other oil filter. This one came off of a 2000, I believe, a 2006 Mazda 3 with the 2-liter engine. And at that time, still, uh, uh, Ford and Mazda were partnered up together until 2015. Ford sold their stake of Mazda, so Ford no longer owns a part of Mazda anymore. So anyhow, we're opening this up. Oop, just getting rid of the metal clip here so I can dissect the oil filter. Trying to not contaminate the oil filter with anything. This one, I'm not sure if this was from that Mazda vehicle that I worked on, because there are some vehicles that I work on, they use the same oil filters. So I just had a pile of old oil filters laying around in my disposable bin. So I picked up an oil filter and just, I think it was from the Mazda vehicle. So uh, just opening this up now. That Mazda vehicle usually does conventional oil, 5,000 kilometers or 3,000 miles every 3 to 6 months or something like that. So I'm just opening this up. Hard to open this up like the other one. Other oil filter was easy to open up because the oil change interval, it went for longer. Usually the longer you go on the oil change interval, then easier it is to open up these pleats. It's very easy to open because of they've been diluted with engine oil for many thousands of kilometers. So I'm just opening this up. Typically, it's best to use a screwdriver, but I'm lazy to go and get one at the moment. So let's see. Trying to get this apart. Got myself a screwdriver to open this garbage up. So I think the black stuff is actually from the oil filter itself, from the how they construct the oil filter. They use like a black piece of plastic or glue or something. So that's not that's not coming from the engine wear. But if that was the case, the engine would have been toast by now. So I'm just opening this up now with the screwdriver. I finally got one. So uh, you can see the black pieces, but they're not completely broken apart like how the other one was. So that's just the construction of the oil filter itself, on how they design it. So I don't see really much of metallic debris or particles, maybe a small bit here, but that's it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll put that on the side. Yeah, so this one doesn't have much debris in here, so that's pretty good. Not much engine wear. All this black stuff is from the oil filter itself, so there's nothing to be worried about. The black stuff here. So I didn't see much debris. I saw one small metallic particle, and that's it. So that's it for the Motorcraft oil filter. The next one up is gonna be, get this out of the way, change this out. So the next one up is going to be the Hastings oil filter. This came off of 2009 Pontiac Vibe. This one had the 2.4 liter engine, and this vehicle doesn't get driven very much. Maybe every like 6 months, probably not even 1,000 or so kilometers. So it gets changed every 6 months. So this is the bypass. This is the bypass valve. This is a Hastings oil filter LF413. I didn't put in the part numbers in the beginning. Sorry about that. The Ford Motorcraft of the previous one, FL910S, and the other one is a FL500S. So this is Hastings oil filter. I believe it's the same company as Baldwin. So there's a internal, there's a spring that, this spring that pushes against here, that opens up on the spring, and then you have the other part, the anti-drain back valve, the silicone anti-drain back valve, and the base of the oil filter. This is the canister, fairly good quality. We can open this up, but you probably won't see much. So I'll open it up anyways. See if I find anything. This is a fairly good quality oil filter. You don't really see much. There's one piece metallic debris here, but that's it. A few pieces here, but it's very hard to see. They're not in large particles are not very large. So I don't know if you'll be able to see that in here. It's a fairly decent oil filter. There's a metal sleeve that holds pieces, the pleats together, that closes it up. I'm getting tired of using my hands now because I'm opening these up. The end caps, it's a all metal construction. They don't have these straight. If you notice on the oil filters, they go diagonally across for centrifugal force, I believe, more efficiency and more more flow, better flow characteristics. I don't see too many metallic debris on this one, on the Hastings. This is also a pretty good oil filter. Uh, you can't go wrong with the Baldwin oil filters. They're pretty good. Baldwin, Hastings, it's the same company. I don't even know if they make the white canister anymore. They changed it to a red and black canister now. So it has a red painted canister with a black writing. So I don't know if they make the white ones anymore. So that's that for the Hastings. There's gonna be a couple more, I think, and then that's gonna be it for this video. I do have a Purelator that's up next, and it's a certified Canadian Tire oil filter. I think that Fram, they make this oil filter. We can open this up first, I guess, because that's gonna be easier. This one is a brand new oil filter, so I haven't used it. So this is it's a 4967 oil filter. So this is these oil filters are extremely cheap, so I don't really recommend using it on your car, but they will still work and do the job. This is the canister. It's not too bad, but you can tell it's of this oil filter is of cheaper quality. Although that these oil filters, they must meet ISO standards, so they must uh, they must meet a certain specification or standards in order for it to be safely used on a vehicle. So you will see some stampings somewhere that will say that it's ISO certified. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it here, but anyhow, this is the bypass valve. It has a plastic piece with a metal spring, a tiny metal spring. It's not very strong. I don't. It doesn't take much to press down on it. And the problem is that if it doesn't take that much pressure to push down on the spring, my only concern is that sometimes the bypass valve on these cheap oil filters can stay open all the time if it doesn't need that much pressure to push down on the spring, because really I don't need to push that much force on it. So I don't know if these guys stay open all the time. So it's hard to know without doing extensive testing with the proper machine and or equipment. So I don't know if I can say that. So this is a piece of metal with some plastic here and here for the bypass valve. So it's rather very cheap construction, to be honest. And then some people will call this cardboard end caps or fiber end caps. It's pretty cheap. The filtering material is okay. It's not the best, but it's nothing like compared to the other oil filters that we just opened up. The other oil filters are of much better quality. So it's all glued at the bottom here. See if I can open this up for you guys to see. At the time, when I purchased these certified oil filters, they didn't cost me much, uh, because I have a commercial account. They sell these oil filters to me for like $2 or something. Very cheap oil filter for this particular one. I don't know if the price has gone up a tiny bit since then. This is the cylindrical piece. It's very cheap because I can squeeze this with my thumb, and look, already already is broken. It's very cheesy. The other ones I can't squeeze with my thumb easily. This is this one is the Hastings oil filter. I can't squeeze. It's not easy to squeeze it. So that's how you know that these filters are very cheap. I believe that Fram makes these oil filters. It's a exact same company. So I don't, I used to own a couple of Honda vehicles in my past, and I used to use Fram oil filters all the time, and I never had a problem. In Honda themselves, they use uh, Fram oil filters as well, which is made by Honeywell. So it's relatively the same or similar construction. The bypass valve and the anti-drain back valve and everything, they're all the same. This is the anti-drain back valve, and then you have the base of the oil filter, and then the gasket. So Fram, Honeywell, and Honda is all the same filter. It's all by Honeywell, so all the same. It's relatively cheap. It'll still work, but I wouldn't really use these on my vehicles because of how cheap the design is. But it'll still work okay for maybe 3,000 miles or 5,000 kilometers. I would not go 8,000 kilometers on these oil filters due to the cheap quality. So I don't really trust it. Said it's made in the USA, imported by Tri-Leaf Distribution, Toronto, Canada. I find that very hard to believe, but the American products would not be this cheap, so I find it hard to believe. So anyhow, we're going to put that aside. This might end up just going in the garbage, anyways, after this video. So put that on the side. This is probably one of the worst oil filters that I have seen. It doesn't get any worse than these. These are very cheap, cheaply made, and poor quality control, I guess. So I don't know. And the last one we have here is the Purelator Tech oil filter, part number 4476. This is the same as the 4967 interchange number. So I opened this up. This is the canister. The Purelator filters are not bad, average quality filter. spring for the bypass valve, a metal spring, in a all metal construction for the end caps. And then you have the anti-drain back valve, the silicone anti-drain back valve. This is a higher quality silicone because it's very stiff, and I kind of like that. And we have the base of the oil filter. This one has the updated, different design, the rubber O-ring. I'm not sure on what you call it. It's the circular type and not the square type of the gasket. So these, they seal against the engine pretty well than the other ones. So this one has some debris, metallic debris here, as you can see on top from the wear and tear. This one came off of a 2005 Toyota Corolla. This one had the 1.8 liter engine. And so we're just going to open this up. It's a very good, decent quality oil filter. You can't go wrong with these. I recommend these oil filters. I've seen a majority of shops use these oil filters. These oil filters can be anywhere from a few dollars up to maybe like $5 or $6 at most if you buy them from a distributor and not from the retail store. So I'm talking about Canadian dollars because I live in Canada. There's still some oil in here. I'm just trying to open this up. Trying to not contaminate this. And again, I don't claim to be an expert on this. I'm just opening this up for experimental purposes, just to inspect any debris or anything, and to check the quality of the oil filters. So this vehicle usually does not even 5,000 kilometers, 3,000 miles on it in 3 to 4 months. Oil gets changed very often. Oil gets changed about a lot less than 5,000 kilometers on synthetic oil. So we change this. I change this oil every, probably doesn't reach like 3 to 4,000 kilometers every 3 to 4 months. This material is just from the glue at the bottom. This is the metal construction end caps. I'm just trying to separate it. A little cheaper than the other one, the Ford and the Hastings, the Motorcraft and the Hastings oil filter. I can separate this very easily. So still a decent quality oil filter regardless. The construction is slightly cheaper than the Hastings oil filter. You can tell just by the look and the feel of it. Just trying to get everything off out of here. I think I cut myself open. I'm not sure. Anyhow, so we're just gonna continue. You just gotta be careful when you're opening these guys up and using a screwdriver to not stab yourself. So you just need to be very careful. So this is the cylindrical piece. This is just as cheap as the other one, as the certified one. Just as cheap. This is not really too good quality. So compared to the other ones, yeah. So the cylindrical piece is really cheap on the Purelator uh, oil filter, but this oil filter is still of your average quality. It's okay. It's a decent oil filter. It's not too bad. I would install these on my vehicles, no problem. So just having a look at the pleats here. I see some debris. I don't know what that is. I think it could be from the glue material and how they glue this down. But other than that, I don't see any metallic debris. If anything, very small particles, very tiny. But that's about it. So that's it for that. I'm just going to put that away. Yeah, I don't see much. Just maybe like a few pieces of particles that I can see in the oil filter. And this is the bypass valve, which pushes down on the internal spring inside. There's a metal spring, and there's a piece of plastic in between. This is plastic. So you can see all the glue. They glue this down when they constructed the oil filter. This is the Purelator oil filters. They're okay, decent quality. Uh, the quality of this oil filter is not too bad. It's not like a very high performance, the highest quality oil filter. Uh, but it's okay. It's your average oil filter. It's not bad. It's way better than the cheap certified the Fram oil filter. I know 100% that Fram makes this because I'm familiar with the construction of that oil filter. So before I rate the oil filters, there's two more that I want to talk about. Uh, there's two from a previous two videos that I made. One from a Mazda vehicle and one from a Honda vehicle. I already have them opened up. So I'll just the issue is I don't have them in one piece, so they are already taken apart. So this is a Mazda oil filter, genuine Mazda. It's by Tokyo Roki Corporation Limited. There's a bypass spring inside here, and then the all metal end caps and all metal construction bypass valve. So this is gonna push inside here, I believe. Push on the bypass valve, and then the cylindrical piece. It's very high quality. I can't push this down on my thumb. This is an extremely high quality oil filter. And then they have the rubber gasket, the circular type. I took this off, and then the base of the oil filter. And then they have the pleats. I don't know on what quality, what type of pleats these are, but I know that some companies use the cellulose type of pleats. I'm not going to go into the details. This was the first oil change on this one, on this vehicle, so there were a lot of metallic debris in here on this. So I'm going by this one very fast because I didn't anticipate to make this video all that long. So this is the Mazda oil filter. This is the Honda oil filter. the canister, the Honda. This is from the Mazda, by the way, was from a 2023 CX5 with a 2.5 liter engine. And this Honda is from 2024 Accord with a 2 liter engine. This one was a hybrid vehicle. So this is the canister. You have the cylindrical piece, cheap one. I mean, I can use my thumb easily. You can see it's very identical to this one. This is a taller oil filter. You can see it's very identical to, to the certified oil filter. That's how I know it's by the same company. The silicone anti-drain back valve is very similar. You can tell the certified one and the Honda one is very similar. Exact same. This one has three I don't know what you call it, the dimples or prongs or whatever. There's the three markings here. This one here has the three markings. It's the same exact thing. Same. And then now the at the bottom part, just slightly different but very similar. The construction is very similar. Just the rubber gasket is different on this. Exact same thing. And you can see the cylindrical part on which it mounts onto the housing is very similar. This one is a little bit longer because it's a different part number than this one. This one says 5U on the casting metal. This one says 6C. Just different part numbers. And the number of holes. I don't know if the number of holes are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The same number of holes, same everything. And the dimples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing. And now this is the Honda anti-drain back valve, the one with the plastic, and the one with the metal spring, the cheap metal spring and plastic. Very easy to push. The certified one, the same exact thing. Plastic, are identically the same. That's how I know it's by the same company. It's by Fram, the same exact company. There's almost no difference. And the pleats, oil filter pleats, the one with the cardboard end caps or the fiber end caps, the same exact thing. Exactly the same. This one had the piece of metal that holds the filter. I don't know if that one, I don't know if the certified had that one as well on this one. Some may have it and some may not. So it's going to vary, but everything else is pretty much the same. On this, I think this one had this one had the piece of metal to close up the oil filter, but this one did not for some reason. That's the only difference. But the part numbers are not exactly the same, so it might be just very slight variation, but everything will be relatively the same. Like the bypass valve, exact same thing. There's no difference at all. The paper material, maybe very similar. So, so that's that for the Honda oil filter. It's just strange that the Honda uses the Fram Honeywell oil filters on their vehicle, and they have for many years, and so they haven't really had any problems. So they still work, these oil filters, certified oil filters. They will still work relatively okay. I haven't had any problems with Fram oil filters. The engine will still run well and properly as long as you're changing the oil and the filter on time every time. If I were to list the oil filters from best to worst, I'll put them in order now as I'm doing this. The first and best oil filter on this table that I have will be the Mazda. The Mazda one is the first. This is the best oil filter. It's one of the best oil filters I've seen so far. Extremely high quality. They don't use a cheap metal. It's made in Japan. It's very strong canister, an all metal bypass valve. They do have an anti drain back valve, but there's just a gasket here because the way it's mounted vertically. So and, I don't know on what the quality is of the pleats, but it's a very high quality paper material that they use. So this is number one on the list. That's number one. The number two would be Hastings Baldwin filter. Uh, Also, the same. It's an all metal construction as well, and the end caps all metal construction. A very heavy duty bypass spring. This is the largest and thickest and most heavy duty spring I've seen so far. And so they have a very high quality uh, anti drain back valve. As you can feel that the rubber is very stiff. So that's that. The filtering material is of decent quality. It's pretty thick. I know I didn't take the measurements or anything. I didn't use a vernier caliper to take the measurement. I'm just doing a visual inspection. So this is my opinion, by the way, on what I think, which one's the best oil filter. So this comes in a second place from the filters that I have on the table. So that's your second place oil filter. So I'll put that aside. Third place would be the Motocraft oil filters. Third place. These ones are pretty decent. This I'm able to squeeze the cylindrical piece somewhat, but not as easy as the Fram. Both ends have the metal end caps. Has a decent anti drain back valve and bypass valve. I think it's built. I think it's built into the filter. I'm not sure if it actually has a. Yeah, there's a bypass valve in the piece that pushes against the spring in here inside. The spring is internal of the oil filter, I believe, and so it's gonna push against. I believe is gonna push against here if I'm not mistaken. Decent quality filtering material. You can't go wrong with these oil filters. So those top threes are pretty good oil filters. The Motocraft. So that's number three. Number four on the list is the Purelator. This is just your average Joe Blow between economy and just like your regular oil filter. Has a somewhat decent spring. Has a cheap cylindrical piece that encases the filter material. A very good anti-drain back valve. This is one of the most heavy duty anti-drain back valve I've seen. It's very stiff. This is the base has a very good sealing for the rubber gasket. Very good quality. A metal construction bypass valve inside with the plastic piece at the bottom. Okay. This is the filtering material, the pleats, paper, or whatever. So that's that. That's in fourth place. In fifth place would be Honda, as I stated earlier about this. Anti-drain back valve. This one had the cardboard or fiber end caps. It's not a metal construction. Uh, Half plastic and half metal spring. Very cheaply made. Very uh, cheap metal. This looks like it came out of a pop can or something. That's how cheap it is. But it still does the job okay. The gasket, the seal on the rubber gasket is decent. The base of the oil filter, uh, the quality of the canister is not too bad, okay quality. But these Honda oil filters are pretty cheaply made, so that's that is number 5. In last place is the certified oil filter. The same exact design as the Honda. There's no difference. Plastic bypass valve with a piece of, uh, of metal spring. You have the base here with the regular square type gasket seal. And the canister, it's okay. They both said they are made in the. They both said that they are made in the USA, but I find that hard to believe. And the cylindrical piece, very easy to push and bend. Very cheap quality, and the cardboard end caps or fiber end caps, paper, and the filtering the filtering material for that. And that's it. It's just you can tell just by looking and analyzing the oil filter that is cheaply made, and so it's not very good quality. So this is number 6 on the list. Uh, that's everything. Put that on the side. And that's going to conclude this video for today. That's everything. And if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day and take care.